Happy Wednesday. This is Mariko Hirka of Visionary Yoga, and it's a beautiful day in New York. I got my Issey Miyake shirt on, and I'm feeling good. Hope you are too. And so today I'm live for 3 steps to stop caring what other people think. And that is so important, and the reason, the why behind this title is that I consult and coach really high achievers, people who have achieved status like CEO, vice president, senior partner, amazing artists. I mean, these are the people I coach. But when I get on a private call with them, often I'm always amazed to hear the confession that, they what's holding them back the most is self-doubt and what other people, their colleagues, the people who they lead, as well as the senior management, whatever, think of them, and it's still their bottleneck. And so I'm always amazed by that. And when looking back at my own journey, when I grew up in Japan, I was a painfully shy girl because the whole conditioning for female for women in that culture is like you shouldn't stick out, and it's all about the face you put out to the outside, and this always bowing and not being too direct and watching, tiptoeing to see, looking at other people's eyes for approval on whether what you're saying, what you're doing, or what you're thinking even is the right thing. And so I grew up like that, and so I really internalized it. And when I came to this country, I was brought to America at 9.5 years old, that all that was already in place, and I had to work really hard to break free of this very crippling shackle of this thing, like what do other people think always. And it's really taken a long time. I still suffer from some of it, but I've come a long way to just putting myself out there and just really not giving a hoot, really living my life as my own. And so I want to share with you the 3 absolutely important keys from the inner dimension of yoga. And I really consider yoga as the most comprehensive, sophisticated, versatile form of personal development. And also, it is the most sophisticated, in-depth, comprehensive form of peak performance modality there ever has been, because you have to learn how to stay relaxed in high stakes situations. And this is exactly what yoga teaches you, to stay in that parasympathetic mode of breathing, of holding your physiology that way, so that your psychology also follows. And so if you're interested in learning the inner dimension of yoga, the peak performance technology of yoga, I'm going to be holding a free challenge. And this is not one of those just commercial challenges. It's really a deep dive, 5 modules that I sell as a course through the rest of the year. But once a year, I do this free. And if you'd like to join that, it's the Facebook group. I'm going to put it in the chat. Hopefully it will register. If you're not watching it on chat, I'll post it down below if you're watching on LinkedIn or any other platform. So let's dive into it. Okay, so number one, to not caring what other people think is 3 words, 3 word mantra: value your life. Value your life. And I'm going to go look into each of these words to kind of like dissect this. So value: you are the source of all the value in your world, right? You are the source of all the value, and so you got to own that. And often when you look at other people's eyes for approval, you're valuing their opinion, their perspective more than your own. And so it's so important to own that value as your own. This has to do with your self-worth, and that lives in your third chakra, your self-esteem center. It's so important to affirm that you already are a success. You're doing so many things that are that successful people do already. So celebrate that in order to increase your sense of your value. Value your life. That is so important. It's like sit in the driver's seat of your own life. And one question that I found really useful to ask myself throughout the day, and especially in high stakes situation, is this: under what influence, under whose influence am I operating? And you might always say, well, I'm my own boss. But look a little deeper, because you have internalized so many of the authority figures, right, that you have held dear. And is it that authority figure speaking that you have internalized in your head? Is it some belief from the past that you are operating under? Or is it you in this present moment, free of all those influences? Is it really you, the pure awareness version of you, the pure consciousness version of you, that is driving your life? So value your, and then life. Life is every moment. So we think of, life, sometimes we project it into the future, but the future, whatever it may be, tomorrow, 1 year from now, 3 years from now, it's doesn't exist yet. And the past has already gone, and it's like old tape. And so life is pristinely in this moment. And so valuing your life in the now. And if you can be absolutely present, if you can live like that, and one hack is, a great enlightened Ayurvedic doctor said to me, if you can be conscious from the inception of your breath all the way to its dissolution into the abyss of nothingness, moment to moment, nanosecond by nanosecond, if you can be super aware of that, then you can be enlightened. You can be enlightened in this lifetime. Practice that just take a deep breath with me. Can you be absolutely, with your breath, nanosecond by nanosecond, right? Tip number 2 is very, very important. I use this whenever I do anything public, teaching a class, a workshop, giving a talk. Be the seer. Be the seer with a capital S, not the seen. This is one of the highest and fundamental teachings of yoga with a capital Y. You don't get this in the yoga studio where you go to stretch and breathe and all of that, because in this culture, we think of yoga as purely physical. But yoga is not purely physical. Yoga is a technology for returning you to your original state of absolute freedom. And in order to do that, you got to identify with the seer. I do not identify with the seen, because the seer is the subject. And so your true nature is the seer. And one of the greatest Bibles of yoga is known as the Yoga Sutra. And the fourth stanza, the fourth aphorism, contains this teaching. It's one of the most beautiful and powerful. It goes like this. So, tada drashtuhu svarupe avasthanam. That's the Sanskrit. Now let's decode that. Tada drashtuhu means when you abide in the seer, you are in your true nature. When you abide in the seer, you are in your true nature. True nature meaning your pure consciousness. But when you identify with the seen, all of a sudden you become this subject. You're like this person with a certain skin color, a certain hairstyle, a certain, title, and all the labels that the world imposes upon you becomes a shackling, binding force when you identify with the seer. Then that's when you start to worry, how you appear and all those fears. When you identify with the seen, you separate, you create this clear separation, like my skin is where me ends and the rest is the world. And then the me and the world becomes this duality. And then you really get afraid. And this is, something we want to be. When you're identified with the seer with a capital S, then you're the subject, and you are able to tap into your most resourceful state. And so it's very simple. 5 words. Maybe it's 6 words. Be the seer and not the seen. Right? Be the seer, not the seen. Third and last is connect seer to seer. So when I'm doing this kind of thing where I am out in the public, I'm doing a live, I look into the camera and I'm appealing to the seer within you, to that deepest part of you, you as a consciousness, you as a spark of life, as a throb of life, which pulsates with receptivity and creativity. So when you can do that, see, we all have different dimensions of our being, right? So when you connect with, and we can really control what we connect with in the audience. Everybody in the audience has that part of you that is that judgmental, that part of you that cares what the world thinks. That's known as the ego, or ahamkara in the yogic language. And when you're bound in that, and you are kind of, when you talk to people on that level, then you are kind of afraid of what people think about you. And politicians are actually really, really great at connecting with that kind of egoic dimension, and then they're able to create divisions among people, because then they get say then they appeal to that identity, their nationality, their race, whatever it is, and they can create divisions very easily. But if you are an uplifter, if you consider yourself a change agent, a person who wants to uplift and contribute to others, then you want to, tap into that truth dimension of them, which is that, we all are a spark of life, and that connects all of us at the most fundamental level. It doesn't matter your economic status, your race, your nationality, your sexual orientation. None of that stuff matters if you just connect with each other as a spark of life, a throb of life. And so connecting with that spark of life in your audience and talking to that part of them that is a possibility. That is a possibility. See, the ego sees every possibility as a problem. You know, if you think about it, every problem is a possibility in disguise. And when we live on the egoic level, we can only see the problem side of things. But when we tap into that dimension of us that is the seer, that is that stream of pure consciousness, then you can see beyond the problem to the possibility that resides beyond it. And you're inspired to see the problem as a doorway to unlocking that possibility. And so, connect with the seer both inside of yourself. First, connect to that dimension first within, and then connect with that dimension within your audience, whoever you're speaking to. And I really appreciate you receiving me in this way today. I really do, because it's a rare thing. Sometimes social media can be this place where we're all judging each other and liking or disliking or whatever, and we kind of relate to each other in this egoic way. But for me, social media is a tool to really connect with that dimension of you that knows that there is a greater life waiting for you. That's what we're on planet Earth for, right? And so this is what the work of visionary yoga is. And I would love to, have you join me for the Peak Performance 5 days to Peak Performance Yoga Challenge and dive deeper, because I have so much more to share with you. And it's time for that peak performance mode before the holidays hit us, so that when the holidays hit us, we can, welcome it from a place of calm, with having done, taken care of the things that we need to take care of. It's going to be in my Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. And I have posted the link if you are watching this on Facebook. And if not, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram, I will post it in the comments after this video. So do check it out. And also, if we all are the bottleneck, the greatest bottleneck to our own next level. And I feel like I've gone through several incarnations in this one lifetime. And I do this on a regular basis. Be the seer of your vision. Be the holder of your vision for all my clients and people who seek my help. And I want to make that available to you at no charge. I just have 5 spots available this month for my visionary session. You just go to visionarysession.com, very simple, visionarysession.com, and you can book that call with me. I have some openings coming up next week. So if you have a vision, or maybe if you're vague and kind of seeking to clarify your vision, I'd love to be your holder of your vision for you, and get on the phone one-on-one. I'll show up just like I do for all my paid clients, and just share with you, what I see as your greatest bottleneck, and then the next one needle moving action step to take. And then you'll leave with a clearer vision, a more up level vision. And so, go to visionarysession.com, and I love to see you, and I love to talk to you, and I'll be honored to be the holder of your vision. So it is a time of renewal. Can you feel it? We just went through, for those of you who celebrate, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and now Sukkot. And in the Indian yogic world, it has been Navaratri, the 9 days of like this crucible, then emerging into the 10th day of the victory day, Vijayadashmi, and then Diwali, the Indian New Year, is still yet to come. There is an amazing energy of renewal, of putting on a new life. So let's make the most of the remaining days of this, tremendous year of 2022. Yes, it has been like that, but you know what? It all has a purpose. The purpose is to give birth to our next level self. And so let's connect with that seer with a capital S. See your vision with such a clarity that others are magnetized to you to support you in realizing it, right? Until you commit, to that vision, it's like there's this hesitancy, right? There's that great quote: when you commit energetically and you become like your organs align with your vision, then the heavens will open the door for you. And so I'm wishing you an incredible month of October, an incredible season of renewal, of putting on a new life. And thank you so much for being in my Visionary Yoga tribe. Namaste, everyone. Have a gorgeous day.